Opportunities present themselves to those who present themselves. Now, if you've been following me any amount of time, you probably have heard me say this. And to be honest, this has been so profound in my life. It has literally allowed me to get the opportunities, every single one that I have to this day. And it even helped me in negative headspaces whenever I didn't want to persist. Whenever I think about this quote in itself, you will understand, and I've understand how impactful it really is. So in this video, I wanna break down why it's so important. And at the end, I'm gonna give you exact practical, tactical steps you can start doing right now to start presenting yourself more in every area of your life. Subscribe, like, let's get into it. Now, let's start off with a quick story back in my college days. And in my college days, I have quite a handful of stories. And I remember this one particular night. It was a Friday night. I got done with my classes fairly early. And for some reason, I was in a really bad headspace. I was in my room. I didn't want to speak to anybody. And this was at the time where, you know, we would go out to the bars almost every Friday. And I remember my good friend, Sam, he knocked on my door. It's like, Austin, come out. You know, we're going out to the bars. Are you coming? And I'm just standing there with my hoodie on, laying down on my dorm room floor, looking up at the ceiling. I'm like, no, bro, I really don't feel like it. Like, it's just not what I want to do tonight. And he pretty much ended up convincing me and trying to motivate me to come because, you know, it's not really that fun if the whole floor didn't go. And I was like kind of being the odd one out. But like I said, I was in this negative headspace. I didn't want to get dressed. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I'm not sure exactly why I felt that way, but I'm sure it probably has something to do with women and my frustration with them at that time. I'm not gonna lie. And so he ended up convincing me to go out. I got dressed. I, you know, put on a nice shirt. I put on my sneakers and I was like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna just go out, see what happens. Let's have a good time. I'm gonna at least try to. So I kind of reframed my mindset. And that night, something interesting happened in which, in hindsight, I was like, if I never would have presented myself, this never would have happened. And so whenever I went out to the bar, I ended up meeting this pretty cute little light-skinned girl, curly hair. I remember she was turning 21 that night and I was at the bar. I wasn't 21 at the time. And her sorority sister or friend asked me, hey, are you gonna buy my sorority girl a drink? And I said, no, I'm not 21. But that connection in itself lended us to us talking, me and her little, as they call it, which is the cute little light-skinned girl. And I kid you not, after a bit of banter, dancing, talking, we ended up going back to my place. And now you might be asking, Austin, how is this story even relevant? Because if I wouldn't have presented myself that opportunity in which, you know, her going back to my dorm room and us having a good time, and that actually led to like a little short-term fling, that in itself would have never happened. Instead, what would have happened? I would have been in my dorm room, all depressed in a negative headspace. And not only that, the whole reason why I was in the negative headspace is because the opportunity in which I was seeking for was not happening, but all it took was that step in action. And so this is when I realized is that every opportunity I've ever been given, person I've met, or scenario that changed my life was from my sole willingness to present myself even when I didn't want to. Opportunities present themselves to those who present themselves. And I've also noticed that whenever I stop presenting myself or take a break for whatever reason, opportunities all of a sudden stop happening. And now I also want to give the story of popular prison bae Jeremy Meeks. You know, 2014, he blew up. You know, the attractive guy, blue eyes, light skin, you probably have seen him before. But the thing about Jeremy Meeks is that he was always attractive. He's always been an attractive guy. But how come he didn't get modeling opportunities? How come he wasn't dating billionaires? How come he didn't have the life success that he is now experiencing, even though he's always really looked the same? And that's because the opportunity of him presenting himself was through a mugshot. That mugshot then went viral, and then through that, lended him many opportunities in which he otherwise never would have experienced. So I'm not saying that you have to get a mugshot, but I think that's another example of how all it takes is one opportunity, and all it takes is that one moment of you presenting yourself in the right way for opportunities to lend itself to you in which you were never expecting. Now, here's one thing you have to remember though, and that is, even though opportunities might be presented to you, you still have to present yourself in the right way. So whenever I say this, guys just think, okay, if I just present myself, then something will happen. No, not the case. Not the case whatsoever. Remember, I said in my college story, you know, I've always been into style and fashion. I was working out at the time too. So I put on my best fit, and Honestly, objectively, I've always dressed better than anybody I was going out with. So that gave me a little bit of leverage. And so whenever you plan to present yourself, just remember to one, know your audience, know who you're presenting yourself for, because that in itself will help you sort of cater what sort of image we need to present ourselves with. Are we going out to meet professional people? Are we doing something for women or dating? Who is our crowd? Because we have to present ourselves the right way. Then also what helps me is have something known as the beyond average mindset. Now, what this really means is ask yourself, from an average perspective, what is everybody else doing? If you just were to envision the average guy going to wherever you're going or wherever you're gonna present yourself, what are they doing? And here's the thing, you don't wanna do what the average guy is doing. You wanna give yourself leverage above the average guy. And this goes into something else in which I call points of leverage, which helps you sort of identify how you can leverage yourself in terms of your presentation above the average. Now, this is something that I really break down in my coaching program, Digital Romeo, but what it really means is understanding the attraction triggers and pillars and how that can be represented and correlated within us. So some points of leverage include your style, your fitness, your sex appeal, the quality in which you present yourself, aspects of your status, your social competence, your ability to do something well. All of these will play into your leverage, and this is all the stuff we need to think about before we actually go out and present ourselves, because remember, we have to do it the right way. Now, a crazy thing that you'll experience is that the more you show up, the more you actually become aware of the opportunities that have actually been there the whole entire time. They've been there the whole entire time. You just were not aware of it because you were not presenting yourself. The opportunity was always there. And think about any goal you want to accomplish or any realm. It could be professional, it could be in dating. More than likely, this is gonna cause you to, once again, present yourself. And remember, opportunities present themselves to those who present themselves. And so even right now, the goal you strive to achieve, the opportunity is right there waiting for you. All you have to do is make that connection by presenting yourself and reaching out to get it. That's literally it. The opportunity is literally standing there right now, and it's literally waiting for you. And this is where some guys might find themselves lucky, because remember, luck is preparation meeting the opportunity. The preparation in itself is us presenting ourselves, and the opportunity is either the person, the collaboration, the event, the deal, the money, whatever it may be. So hopefully by now you know that presenting yourself will lend you more opportunities, more than you can possibly imagine, and that the opportunity that you actually want is right on the other side of you presenting yourself in the right way. Now, how exactly do you present yourself more often? Well, let's kind of break this down into sort of the main pillars that most people find they want success in, which is dating, professional, creative, and social. So for dating, I always say 3 dating apps, more volume. The more we present ourselves, likely the more results due to the law of averages. And so even with my clients who I work with in my Digital Romeo program, we do the big 3. Hinge, Bumble, Tinder. One big thing I've noticed for guys who want to improve their dating results is simply from the fact they are presenting themselves on one platform, and that's usually Tinder. And believe it or not, Tinder, based on what I've seen, my clients get the worst results in across the board. So 3 dating apps, also social media, presenting yourself on an online platform. Now this is gonna look different for everybody, but just from the sole fact that you do decide to post pictures, show your lifestyle, show what you're doing on your story, that lends you more opportunity than not doing so. Also, I'm not gonna neglect social life or anything in real life, because I do believe that's important. You shouldn't be only the guy who's just swiping on dating apps and not having a social life whatsoever. We need to use everything within our leverage, but have a focus on what's going to give us more leverage, which I truly believe online is the way to give us more leverage, hence Digital Romeo. However, it doesn't mean that you should not have a social life. So what are we going to do? 1 time a week, plan either a social event or to go somewhere, even if it's by yourself, because once again, opportunities present themselves to those who present themselves. If something is to happen, where is it more likely to happen? You staying at home watching TV, jerking off, eating popcorn, or you taking the time to dress nice, go out to that bar or go out to that event or go out to that cigar lounge who you might meet an interesting person. This literally happened to me 2 weeks ago. It was a Friday night, and I've been going to the cigar lounge a lot more, but this particular Friday I was like, I kind of don't feel like it. You know, going back to that college dorm, like I just don't feel like going out. But then I told myself, opportunities present themselves to those who present themselves. I ended up going. First 30 minutes there was pretty calm. I was just at the bar having a cigar. But then a particular person came up to me who looked pretty interesting in terms of how he was dressed. And he asked me what I was having, what cigar I was having, because he wasn't that familiar with the cigar place. And I told him, and that stemmed into a conversation. Kind of find out this guy is very, very similar to me. He's into technology. He's a pretty successful guy, has a photo booth company. It's where he operates all over the city. And then from there, we ended up connecting. And now we're probably going to go out and have another cigar here soon. And that opportunity never would have presented itself if I wasn't in that situation or scenario. And now you might be asking, well, if I have this thought process, I should be presenting myself all the time. No, not all the time, because we still need to work on our professional lives. But speaking of our professional lives, you can still do it in the way that leads a lot of leverage and a lot of results. So for a professional, go to that networking invite and don't only work remote. I know a lot of you guys might be working remote right now. If you spend all day on your computer editing or doing whatever, do it in a place where there are actually people at. Go to that Starbucks, go to that coffee shop, go to that busy cafe, take some time and actually go out on a walk, because once again, opportunities present themselves to those who present themselves. Basically, we need to get out the house and say yes. Now, from a creative aspect, post the content, post it. Like I said before in the last video, posting content is literally like a free lottery ticket that you can put into the universe on every post. You never know what video is going to do it for you. You never know who's going to watch that video. You never know who's going to be impacted from that video and potentially lead to an opportunity. I started posting not only on YouTube, but Instagram, pictures of myself, like portraits, nice style of myself. And I did that every single week. Now, I thought nothing of this. I just wanted to show like what I was wearing from a fashion perspective. But after a while, guess what? Opportunities started becoming more apparent to me and I became more aware of them. Checked my email, clothing brands in which I was already wearing started reaching out to me for paid posts. So now I get free clothes and I get paid to wear them and post them off of me just showing the clothes I was gonna wear anyway. Come on, it's a deal, it's a deal. So post that content, don't be afraid to do so. Also, we can take a look at celebrities in which through them posting content, that's how they got discovered. Justin Bieber perhaps is probably the biggest one. Justin Bieber was a guy posting covers on YouTube. And through doing that, he got discovered by Usher, which led him to this opportunity, and now he's a huge star. And then lastly, for social, like I said, is say yes. Just say yes. Say yes to that invitation, say yes to that trip, go on that adventure, and even in some cases, be a little spontaneous. You don't always have to have everything super planned out to the T, check your schedule. Just say yes, especially if you're young. Sometimes these opportunities will never be presented to you again. And I'm glad in hindsight that I've said yes to a lot of opportunities, because through those opportunities led to more opportunities, and it was sort of like a snowball effect. It just kept happening, more opportunity after the other, after the other, after the other. Now, here's what I really, really want you to remember is you will never be short of opportunities as long as you continually present yourself to the world in the highest quality way. Remember that, and I promise you, you will be above average in every single area, and you have more opportunities presented to you than you can ever imagine. Now, if you want my personal feedback on how you're currently presenting yourself, be it your style, be it your Instagram, then don't forget to check out my new coaching platform called AI Awesome Coaching. This is a system that has been built upon all my content. It is an AI model that is trained to act like me, think like me, speak like me, and I can give you personalized advice and accountability towards any goal you're achieving. Now, not only that, we have features being built out every single month, some of which include facial analysis and also deep sexual market value analysis. And you're gonna get access to my monthly Patreon content that I post every single week that is not posted on YouTube. And this is completely free to try. So I'm gonna leave a link down below in the description. Hopefully you can check it out. And I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace.